Hi everyone. Thanks for purchasing this cake pop decorating kit. My name is Rosalie and I own Buffalo Cake Pops. During all this crazy COVID time, we started doing cake pop decorating kits. We always used to do the in-person classes, but we're not doing that right now. So we've been doing the kits and we're bringing them back for the holidays. We are doing a pumpkin kit for the month of October, and in November we'll have turkeys, and at Christmas time we'll definitely have Christmas trees. I'm trying to think maybe snowmen too. So that is what you have to look forward to. But today you have purchased a pumpkin decorating kit. You have received in your kit, you have received the cake that we baked. We let it cool and then we crumbled it with frosting. So you'll have 6 of these little guys that you're going to decorate today to make your cake pops how you choose. You should also have orange candy wafers. When I email you this link, I'm going to tell you a little bit in instructions about how to use them. But I'll tell you about that in a second. You should have some cake pop sticks. You should have some sprinkles for your unicorn hair. You should have some candy corn. Don't eat them before you put them on the cake pop, because then your unicorn won't have a horn. You'll also have some little orange ears if you're doing unicorns. And you will have a bag of some gold, this is royal icing, that we're going to use for our unicorn faces and to put a vine on our pumpkin. And I'm going to give you guys a little bit of black royal icing. This is just sugar and meringue powder. And if you want to do a jack-o'-lantern on your cake pop. So I'll also toss in some extra lollipop sticks and toothpicks so that you can detail your cake pop. So for starters, I'm going to say a traditional cake pop is like this. If you go to Target, you have your little cake pop, it's sticking in the stand. You can make your cake pops this way if you have a stand. If you have some old styrofoam lying around, actually sometimes if you take an egg carton and you flip it upside down and you poke a hole in it, like in the actual egg part, sometimes they'll stick up that way. You can be creative. You can put hard beans in a mason jar and stick them in that way. But I'm going to show you a little trick where you are actually going to make it and lay it flat on the table so that your cake pop is going to have the stick facing up in the air. So the first thing that you're going to do is, if you are watching this video and you haven't done anything yet, when you get your kit, you can leave everything out, but take that Ziploc baggie of cake pops and put them in the fridge. Right before you are ready to decorate your cake pops, take them out of the fridge. Cake pops are easier to decorate for you guys when they are firm and cold out of the fridge. Okay? Again, what we did was we scooped cake pop dough with a cookie scoop out of a big mixing bin, so all your cake pops should be about the same size. These are vanilla cake. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your candy wafers, and you are going to leave 6 wafers out. You're going to leave them out because when we make our cake pops, we're going to put our pumpkins right on these wafers, okay? They're going to be little pumpkin butts, okay? So leave 6 of them out. You're going to take the rest of your wafers. You're going to put them into a microwavable container, a nice bowl, something that's deep enough so the candy is going to melt. You are going to melt the candy. I start at 3 minutes and melt it at 30% power. If you don't decrease the power that you're microwaving with, your candy will burn. I just did that today to some candy. So please don't do that, because then your wafers will be ruined. So you are going to take your candy, you're going to put it in the microwave for 3 minutes at 30% power. You could check it about halfway through. Everyone's microwaves are different, just to see if it starts melting. Then what I do is I take it out, I stir it up a little, it will not be melted. So you're gonna put it back in for another minute, 30% power, and you'll probably need to do it one more time. It'll look a little bit chunky. When you get your candy melted, it's gonna look like this. It's gonna look nice and flowy. It's gonna be falling off the knife, okay? These wafers are pretty good after you melt them. They're fresh. I got them from the candy wafer place around the corner from us. It's called Make and Mold. You can find the candy wafers Make and Mold brand at Tops or Wegmans in the bulk section, but things are kind of funny right now. They're having a hard time processing, getting the candy out the door. But they do exist. You could use Wilton melts too from the craft store, but those are the worst candy wafers they can use for cake pops. And what I mean by the worst is that it's very thick. It might be great for putting in a candy mold and letting harden, but for cake pops, you want this to be flowing off the stick. And again, that is flowing because I added a teeny tiny bit of vegetable oil that thins up the candy. Add it little by little if you need to, because if you add too much all at once, it's going to be very runny, and you don't have more orange wafers, so you can't add it to it and thicken it up. So once your candy is ready to go, while you're making the cake pops, it might harden up a little. If this happens to you, all you're going to do is pop it back in the microwave for about 30 minutes or 30 seconds to a minute, 30% power. What you're going to do now, you are, I'm going to make 2 little pumpkins and show you 2 different ways that you can make them, okay? What you're going to do is you're going to take this little cake pop and you are going to pretend for a second that it is like a piece of Play-Doh. You're going to smush it in your hand. It should be cold right out of the fridge. You're going to smush it in your hands to get all those lumps and bumps out. Then you're going to roll it in a circle. Make sure you are doing this step over your table, because cake pops have been known to jump off tables and then it'll be on the floor. And unless your mom believes in the 5-second rule, you'll be down a cake pop. So you're gonna get a little circle just like this, okay? What you're gonna do is I kind of just smush it, just a teeny tiny bit, okay? Then you're gonna take an extra cake pop stick. I'm gonna make sure you can see this. What you're going to do is you are gonna ridge it. You're gonna put the stick and indent the cake just like that. You're gonna do 4 or 5 of these ridges. You're making ridges of a pumpkin, okay? And don't be bashful. You can really stick it in a good amount, because after you dip it, sometimes those ridges, the candy will drip off it and you can't really see it. So the deeper the ridges, the better, okay? Again, I'm using the stick. I'm starting at the top. I'm just rolling it down. It looks crazy. There's no magic. You're just rolling it down. So go ahead and you'll do that with all 6 of your cake pops. Again, I'm gonna make 2 cake pops at the same time so I can show you 2 different pumpkin decorations, okay? So, what you're gonna do here is, because we're doing the sticks up in the air, you're going to take your stick, you're gonna roll it in the candy about that much. What I do is I stick it in, it's gonna be a big glob, then I wipe the excess off kind of on the side. It's about 1 inch deep. This is a cake pop trick, you guys. You are gonna put this stick with the melted candy into the top of your cake pop. What's gonna happen is that candy is gonna harden, and then you, hopefully when you go to dip your cake pop, the candy will have hardened so that it stays on the cake pop stick so it does not fall into the jar. I would suggest having a spoon with you so that you can dig it out if it does fall, okay? So you're gonna do that, and you want the candy to harden a little bit, so go do a little 2-minute twirl around the kitchen or something, let the candy harden. Then what you're going to do, you're gonna take your candy wafers and you're gonna lay them out in front of you, okay? Because you're actually gonna dip the cake pop. Again, you can dip it and put it in a stand of some sort if you have that. But what we're gonna do here is we are gonna dip it, and then you're gonna put it on the candy wafer. I'm gonna do this sooner than it should be because I am the cake pop lady. So you're gonna cover your whole cake pop so that all of the candy has covered the cake pop. You're gonna wiggle it tiny bit, let the excess drip off. If you dug those ridges in really good, you'll be able to see the ridges in your pumpkin. If you feel it wiggling off the stick, you can just kind of very quickly brush it, put it right on that candy wafer, okay? Right on the wafer. What that's doing with the candy wafer, you can do it without the candy wafer, but sometimes the candy drips off to the side. So it's really it's making it nice and neat. It's another little cake pop trick. People you know will be just so impressed with your skills. So now you have to let sit and wait for those to dry. I did not prep this very good because I should have made one ready to decorate. So hopefully you have some nice cake pops. The sixth one may or may not look better than the first one. Don't agonize about it, just have fun. So if you see now, I gave you some little pieces, all right? So go ahead and take all your pieces and spread them out. Take your candy ears, take your candy corn, the sprinkles, set them up so it's ready for you, all right? The first thing I'm going to show you, while I'm waiting for these to dry, the first thing I'm going to show you is take if you just want to do plain regular pumpkins, this bag of royal icing, you are going to cut a teeny tiny hole, okay? You want it to be enough where you're getting a good, I don't know if you can see that, where it comes out of the bag nicely, but cut it smaller because if you cut it too big, then there's no going back, all right? These bags are really cool. On them, I also have the website where I get them from, Truly Mad Plastics. They're really great for royal icing or drizzling candy on cake pops, okay? So, what you can do, say you just want a regular old pumpkin with a cute little vine on it. What you can do is, like I've done here, you can squeeze this bag out on the wax paper or parchment in front of you before you've gotten started. Just to see how that feels. It's a little bit thick, so you can twirl your stick back and forth to make a nice vine. Also, if you just want a pretty little cake pop like that, you can go ahead and make those vines. So I'm doing this like backwards, so you could just go and vine it like that, okay? Make some cute little leaves or anything. That's what you're gonna do with that. So again, it's your day. You can make these cake pops however you would like. If you just want to make them with little vines, that is an option. If you want to do a little jack-o'-lantern face, again, take your candy, poke a little hole in it, squeeze it on the parchment to make sure it's coming out nice. What I would suggest is looking at the picture online on our website of the little face for a little design, or you can Google pumpkin jack-o'-lantern faces so that you in your head know what you want to put on the pumpkin, and then you can practice on the wax paper if you want. This is still kind of, it's too wet. So what I'll do is I will put a second pumpkin face on this guy right here. You literally are just going to copy, pipe it on. This is a little bit thicker, which is going to help you keep your shape a little bit better. It won't be runny, and we'll go from there. So what you're going to do is take your cake pop and just draw. I'm doing triangles with little dents in them. Can't see what I'm doing. Okay, so I just put a little eye just like that. Waiting for these to dry. Anyways, if you want to do a little jack-o'-lantern, it's really just piping on very carefully the details, okay? That would be a little nose. Hopefully these are going to set. So again, do a regular pumpkin on a vine, do this jack-o'-lantern little guy onto the unicorn. What you're going to do, you have enough to make 6 of these little cuties. This guy here, the ears are just pieces of fondant, and I stuck them into this little unicorn molds to get the ears, okay? So I have 2 little sets of ears here, and what I'm going to do is you really want your pumpkin to have completely dried before you put the ears on, okay? I'm going to take this guy apart so that we can do this. So take an extra lollipop stick, somewhere up towards the top of your cake pop, you're going to put a big glob of candy, and then you're going to take one of these unicorn ears and put it off to the side. You want to do it off to the side because you want room in the center for the horn, and then you're going to put the sprinkles on, okay? So I'm doing this backwards on the other side of my already done unicorn. Again, take a big glob of candy, and it doesn't matter if it looks too messy after you put the ears on, because we're going to put sprinkle hair on after. Okay, so you have some ears. Let those sit for a second before you put the candy corn horn on. And sometimes it'll slide off on you. Just take more candy and glob it back up. You're going to take candy. You're going to put it up along the stick like that, and then at the base right there. And then traditionally the tip of the horn is up in the air. So you can put it up like that. What I would do is I would put the eyes on first, put the face of the unicorn on first, and then put the sprinkle hair on, because sometimes the hair will get in the way, or sometimes guys get too excited and you put all the hair on and then there's no room for a face. What you're going to do, you could do this in black royal icing, but I'm going with the gold to keep with the harvest theme. And what you're going to do is you, again, practice on the wax paper. I'm doing sleepy eyes. You could do little X's. You could just do circles, whatever you want. So I'm going to try to do this upside down. I'm going to do the eyes first, wiping it very carefully. I'm doing a little sleepy. You could do a little eyelash if you want. Okay. Then you're going to do the same thing over here. Sleepy eyes, little eyelash. How'd I do upside down? Then you could do a little nose if you want. I usually do 2 little dots. Okay? You can do a little smile if you want. We don't on our unicorns. But sometimes a little sassy side smile is cute. Okay? Then, once you've done this, you can go back. Take your extra tooth pop stick, glob it with candy, and then glob it up against the unicorn horn and those ears, okay? And then you're going to take some sprinkles and sprinkle that candy, sprinkle the sprinkles on the unicorn, on that wet candy, and they should all fall off like that, okay? So you could really load it up. You can go back, kind of use your finger to put them on like that, and then you'll have a happy little unicorn. Okay, there's the other side. That's what we got. These unicorns are still drying, and that's normal. That's how long it will take for the pumpkins to dry. Okay, so again, microwave your candy, 30% power. If you have leftover royal icing, you can keep this in the fridge in a Ziploc bag or the freezer. If you wanted to make more cake pops or do any sort of decorating, you can put these on cookies. Otherwise, that was it. Have fun playing with your little jack-o'-lantern faces. Practice on the wax paper. Do not be anxious. This might be your first cake pop, and it's going to be awesome. So email me at buffalocakepops@gmail.com if you have any other questions, and tell your friends about our decorating kits. I am going to have cookie decorating kits soon for fall, So be on the lookout for that, and happy decorating. Wash your hands and stay safe. Okay, thanks guys.